What is going on, everyone? We are in Parshas Vayechi, the very last parsha in Sefer Bereshis. It's a very important parsha. Every single parsha is very important because it's the Torah, and every single word of the Torah is valuable and is imbued with endless lessons. But the 5 books of the Torah, okay, every one of them have their own topics and core values that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is trying to give over to us. In Sefer Bereshis is the story of the Avos. They are the forefathers in Everly, the ones that communicated with Hashem first, the ones that took on the mission of Klal Yisrael. Parshas Vayechi is the end of that story, the end of the story of the Avos. And within Parshas Vayechi are the final messages of our great forefather Yaakov Avinu. And so within this parsha, we can be assured that we will find some valuable lessons, because as Yaakov Avinu passes away, he's obviously going to leave Klal Yisrael, his children, with his departing messages. And departing messages are always the most important because it's the last thing that a person says to his children on his deathbed, and they're going to be valuable, they're going to be important, and no nonsense here. So now many people obviously have different ways of giving over Divrei Torah. You know, the people who like gematrias and people who like to find very interesting Kabbalistic commentaries or Hasidic stories that relate to the parsha. For me, I like to just give it over raw. I like to just read the parsha and just really see the values and the messages that are in plain sight. So Yaakov calls in Yosef, and here is their, according to the Torah, at least what the Torah gives over, the last conversation that they have. Now, the conversation is really about 2 things. They're about Yosef's children. Yaakov is going to now bless Ephraim and Manasseh, give them all kinds of blessings and extra inheritance. But other than that, the other topic of the conversation is about really one thing. Yaakov wants to let Yosef know that he wants to get out of the land. He's here, he's in Mitzrayim, he's not happy about it. Jews go into Galus, but he wants to remind Yosef that he is absolutely not here to stay. Even though he's about to die, he wants to get out of there. And out of all the things that Yaakov Avinu could be telling Yosef, HaTzadik, his son, what is the core, most valuable thing that he wants to give over to Yosef? Basically, get me out of Galus. He says, if I have found favor in your eyes, please do kindness and truth. Please do not bury me in Egypt. That's how he starts his conversation. He's about to die. How he starts his conversation is, get me out of Galus. That is the core value of the story of Klal Yisrael. We spend most of our time in Galus, unfortunately. But we must always have the very first thing on our mind is we need to get out of here the moment we can. He then goes on to make Yosef swear, make sure that I am buried in Eretz Yisrael. This is the most important thing on his mind. He does not want his body to rot in Mitzrayim. He wants his body to get buried in the Holy Land, in the holy soil where a Jewish body is meant to be, both when they're dead and much better when they're alive. In Perek Mem Ches, Pasuk Gimel, Yaakov Avinu then tells over to Yosef about how Hashem spoke to him. Hashem spoke to Yaakov numerous times, but of course, what was the most important, most valuable prophecy that Yaakov Avinu had with the HaKadosh Baruch Hu is he says, Hashem appeared to me beluz be'eretz Canaan. He makes it very clear. Hashem appeared to me in Eretz Yisroel, and he blessed me. And he said, I'm going to make you fruitful and numerous. And then, of course, the most common prophecy to Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, the number one prophecy is, and I will give this land, Eretz Yisrael, to your offspring. Because again, out of all the things that Yaakov could be relating over to Yosef on his deathbed, and all the things that Hashem told Yaakov, the most important thing, Eretz Yisrael, constantly Eretz Yisrael. They're in Mitzrayim, they've been in Mitzrayim now for many years. Yaakov has been there. It's not like he just got here, he's already there for a long time, and he's about to pass away. And again, he's telling Yosef, no, one thing. Hashem promised me the land of Eretz Yisrael. And the mission, Yosef, I'm leaving you with the final mission. Get me, make sure you bury me in Eretz Yisrael, and make sure you give over to your children and to your brothers. The most important thing, Hashem made a covenant, and he gave us the land of Eretz Yisrael. Then the parsha continues, and Yaakov Avinu calls in the rest of his children. He goes on to bless them one by one, the 12 Shvatim. And again, his final message to his entire family, all of his offspring, all of the Shvatim. He says again in Pasuk Chavtes, in Perek 49, he says, he instructed his children, I'm about to die, I'm about to be gathered to my fathers, make sure you bury me in the Mars Machpelah. Make sure you get me back to Eretz Yisrael. Again, most important message to his children is, I'm going to die. Get me back to Eretz Yisrael. Now, I don't know that it was necessarily only about his body, Yaakov Avinu's body, getting to Eretz Yisrael. But again, it's the message. It's the message. It's the value that we are in Gullus. But every single one of us, the moment we can, we got to get to Eretz Yisrael. Some people, like Yaakov Avinu, unfortunately, he was pulled out of Eretz Yisrael. He was forced, due to a famine, due to the situation, he was forced to come to Mitzrayim. But once he's dead, he's going right back. And many of us nowadays, we're not forced to be outside of Eretz Yisrael. Many people, they're already paying for their graves in Eretz Yisrael, but they're happily living outside of Eretz Yisrael. Chazal tell us it's much better to live in Eretz Yisrael than to die in Eretz Yisrael. And Chazal also tell us that it's not so respectful to live your life in the Gashmias of Chutz La'aretz and then dump, as a friend of mine just recently put it, and dump your putrid body in the Holy Land. Eretz Yisrael doesn't need bodies, at least not dead ones. It needs living souls who serve Hashem. And then, of course, the parsha ends with Yosef, HaTzadik. He's about to pass away. He unfortunately also could not get back to Eretz Yisrael because he was the viceroy, second in command of the entire Mitzrayim. But of course, learning from his father, learning what the values of a Jew, what it means to be a Jew, you got to get back to Eretz Yisrael. So he, of course, on his deathbed, also his final, last message to his brothers. So he says, I'm about to die. And he instructs his brothers, make sure when I die, you take my bones and you get them back to Eretz Yisrael. Again, Yaakov Avinu, his final message to Klal Yisrael. Yosef HaTzadik, his final message to Klal Yisrael. They both said really the same thing. They said, God gave us Eretz Yisrael. God will get us back to Eretz Yisrael. That is our ultimate mission. That is our ultimate end. And both of them requested or made their Klal Yisrael swear that when they pass away, their bodies will not be buried in the filthy soil of Chutz La'aretz, but rather to bring their bodies to Eretz Yisrael. Guys, it's time to return. And the same way Parshas Vayechi, Sefer Bereshis, ends. The value of Klal Yisrael, the value of being a Jew, the importance, our ultimate mission, it's all Eretz Yisrael. It needs to be done in Eretz Yisrael. We need to keep the Torah. We need to be a light unto the nations, but it needs to be in Eretz Yisrael. This is the ending message of our holiest forefathers. Get us back to Eretz Yisrael. Now, you guys, anyone who's living outside of Eretz Yisrael right now, I'm assuming you're not living there because there's a famine in Eretz Yisrael. You're probably not living there because people are just, dying in the streets due to disease and lack of food and sustenance and war. I live in Eretz Yisrael. I eat very well. We're doing fantastic here. So I think that most Jews are outside of this land simply because they don't take this book seriously enough. So I urge everybody, take the lessons from Yosef HaTzadik, take the lessons from Yaakov, from Yitzchak Avinu, from Avram Avinu, and understand the first communications that they had with Hashem, the last communications and the communications, the last messages that they left over to their children was always one and the same thing. God promised us this land. Get us back there. You guys can all be here. You guys can all be living out the dreams of our forefathers. You can all be living out the prophecy of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Come back to Eretz Yisrael. Hope you guys all get here. Fast, take the Torah seriously. Chazak ve'amatz. See you next time. Hey guys, if you're enjoying these videos, if you're getting inspired, motivated, I ask, please share them with a friend. Share them with your family. We're trying to get everyone, all the Jewish people, to move back to Eretz Yisrael. We're trying to bring the Geula. And if you aren't already, then please subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot. And unlike some other companies and organizations, I'm a one-man band for the most part. I write the scripts, record the videos, edit them. I put in nothing less than 10 to 20 hours a week just making these videos. And then a lot more than that, being in touch with people, contacting people, helping people get to Eretz Yisrael. It's a lot of work, and I'm so happy to do it. It is the greatest opportunity I've ever had in my entire life to be part of making a change in Klal Yisrael. But I ask of anyone who'd like to partner with me, go to my website, Homeboundisrael.com, make a donation. It helps immensely. All the money goes towards putting in more time, putting in more work, getting these messages out in front of more people, in front of more of Klal Yisrael. And again, every single dollar goes to making the greatest kiddush Hashem that the world has ever seen. Thanks, guys. Chazak ve'amatz. See you next time.